from a recent update, we finally got 3 copies of Melody of Awakening Dragon. We can now obtain it not only from the level 45 rewards from the regular Seto Kaiba, we can also get it from the Dark Side of Dimension Seto Kaiba. We can get 2 copies from it from level 38 and level 40, if I remember correctly. So now, this card makes Blue Eyes a lot more consistent, because previously you always want to have this card in your hand, even though when you only can get 1 copy of it, because it searches both your alternative White Dragon and your regular Blue Eyes White Dragon. And that's very important, because alternative White Dragon requires you to reveal the regular Blue Eyes to summon itself. That's why you always want to have both the alternative and the regular Blue Eyes in your hand. And this singular card searches both of them. That's why you always want to draw this card. But now we have 3 of them. And that is really, really good for Blue Eyes. And the reason why it's limited to 3 is because another card that it can search, which is Chaos Dragon Lavania. This card is really, really good in a lot of decks that play light and dark monsters. And people used to search it with Melody. That's why it's limited to 3 before they gave us 3 copies of this card, so that we can't play 3 of Melody and 3 of Chaos Dragon. But a side note, if you have a single copy of Lavania, you should play 1 copy and take away 1 copy of our Melody, because it is really good follow-up if you survive your first turn and you get 2 searches from Awakening Dragon, because oftentimes you will either already have a regular Blue Eyes or a alternative White Dragon in your hand. That way you will search the one you're missing and Lavania, and during your 3rd turn you can summon Lavania by banishing 3 light monsters and then revive a level 8 monster like Blue Eyes or even Dragon Spirit of White, and then you can start ranking up into your ranking photons and pop cards and wipe your opponent's entire board. But since this is a free-to-play deck, we are not playing Lavania, and we can play 3 copies of Melody. Another thing that you could play if you are playing an expensive version of this deck is, of course, play multiple copies of White Stone of Ancients. You can play 3 copies of that, 3 copies of Sage, and of course the draw spell, which can discard your White Stone to draw 2 cards. That is also really good in this deck. Cards of Consonance, because this allows you to draw into your Melody even more consistently. But since we're playing a free-to-play version of this deck, we can't play those cards at multiple copies, so that's why we're playing Master with the Eyes of Blue, which is a level 1 light tuner that recycles level 1 light tuners from your graveyard. And to combo with this effect, we're also playing some Light Swan cards. Charge of the Light Brigade is in the same box as Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, as you can see in the banner art. And what you can do is activate Light Brigade, mill a bunch of cards. This card we're searching from is Raiden. We're only playing a single copy. But if you're afraid of bricking if you draw into Raiden, because if you draw into Raiden, you can't search anything, so you can't activate this card. So you could play 2 Raidens. And basically what the Light Swan engine does is it helps you mill your level 1 light tuners or your Blue Eyes White Dragons to combo off with Master, because Master recycles your tuners from your graveyard, and also it itself has a graveyard effect. If you mill this card off of Light Swans, you can target 1 effect monster you control, send it to your graveyard, and then special summon a Blue Eyes from your graveyard. So this is another way you can get your Blue Eyes on your field. And it also helps you mill Glow Up Bulb, which is again in the same box, which it revives itself from the graveyard if you happen to mill it with Light Swans. So if you already have a Blue Eyes on your field, or alternative, you can just revive Glow Up Bulb and then make your level 9 synchros like Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. A card that you can play in this deck is Cloud Castle, because this card is a level 9 synchro that revives another level 9 monster in your graveyard. So during your first turn, you will want to summon your Spirit Dragon, and then tag it into your Azure Eyes, and then Azure Eyes will activate its effect during standby phase, revive your Blue Eyes, and then during your next turn, what you can do is synchro summon Cloud Castle, and then revive back your Spirit Dragon, so that you have a graveyard negate, because this card negates card effects that activate from the graveyard, which is really useful against some decks. And also, neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time, so this effect is really good against Pendulum decks specifically, and also decks that special summon 2 monsters at a time, like Ritual Beast. But what you can also do, other than playing these cards, is of course you can play the rank 8 engine. You can play Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon, Full Armor Photon Dragon, and Cypher Blade Dragon, because you're playing so many level 8 monsters, so you can summon these pretty easily. What you can also do is you can play a rank 9 monster. Specifically, you can play Earth Slicer. If you have 1 copy of this card, you could play this card, because you can actually make rank 9s pretty easily. What you can do is, during your second turn, you can synchro summon Cloud Castle, revive a level 9 synchro that you made during your first turn, and then you can overlay the both of them to make something like an Earth Slicer, and then you can use its effect to pop 2 cards. And because you can pop face down cards with both pops with Earth Slicer, it may be better than the rank 8 engine sometimes, because for the rank 8 engine, you can only pop 1 face-up card and 1 any card. So you can't pop 2 face-down cards, but for Earth Slicer, you can pop 2 face-down cards. So this might be better in some situations than the rank 8 engine. So that is basically the deck. And the reason why we're playing 2 Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is that it has a graveyard effect. In case you don't know, you can banish this card from the graveyard to negate a target effect that targets your Blue Eyes monsters. And the way we're getting this card into the graveyard is with itself, because it combos with itself. It has an effect, if you manage to fusion summon this card with our skill, which we'll go over later, you can send Blue Eyes fusion monsters from your extra deck to your graveyard, and then this card can attack again. And you can use this effect 2 times. So that's why we are playing 2 copies in our extra deck, and then we're playing the 3rd copy using our skill. Because the skill we're using is Ultimate Dragons, it adds these fusion monsters, including a Neo Blue Eyes, which is our 3rd one, and Twin Burst. That's why we don't have to use Twin Burst ourselves, because the skill adds it for us. And Twin Burst is a really good card to out our opponent's monsters if they can't be destroyed by battle, or if they can't be targeted or destroyed. It gets over all of them because it just banishes them without targeting. And also adds Poly to our hand, which is super useful. So we don't have to summon 2 Blue Eyes to make Twin Burst. We can just have them in our hand, and then we can activate Poly and make our fusion monsters. So this is basically the deck. Let's see how well it does. Okay, let's set Ancients, and then we set Providence. Good old Blue Eyes endboard. Just set Whitestone and set a trap. They probably think that that's a Karma Cut, because I mean most Blue Eyes players set Karma Cut. And he's gonna set one as well. Oh, I'm not gonna let him activate Whitestone. That's not happening. Okay, now we just need Melody. Oh, all alternative will work as well. We just need to summon alternative, that's what we need. So Melody or alternative will work in this case. And then now we can pop his set. I assume that's a Whitestone. Yep, it is. And then we can flip open our own Whitestone, and then we can make Spirit Dragon. So what this does is, our Spirit Dragon will negate his Whitestone, and our own Whitestone will trigger. and we can do our stuff as usual. And then we don't be tempted with the effect of White Stone in the graveyard because it hasn't activated its first effect yet. And if we use its second effect before it uses its first effect, it won't activate its first effect. So we have to wait until next turn until we can use the graveyard effect that we saw just in. So we can end turn, and then we will use the first effect of White Stone, and then we will summon. You know what? We'll just summon the regular Blue Eyes in attack position because we know that he's also playing Blue Eyes, and then he will attempt to use White Stone, and then now we can negate him because we now have our Spirit Dragon. Yeah, we're now in a pretty good position. We can still negate his White Stone. Oh, he's just gonna attack. He's just gonna give up. I mean, sure, why not? Just give up. I mean, there's not a lot he can do because I have a Spirit Dragon and a Blue Eyes on field, and he doesn't, and I can negate his White Stones, 3 melodies. And then yeah, Awakening Dragon, all the good stuff. Advanced Dragon. Oh wait, he's actually playing something else. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. He's actually playing I don't like playing this card in Blue Eyes just because it needs to use your normal summon, and I would rather use my normal summon on my tuners instead. And also, if you want to summon your Advanced Dragon, you need to tribute a Blue Eyes, which I don't think is a good deal. I think I'm gonna make the castle just to beat over his Azura Eyes. I don't want him to summon stuff from the graveyard. Right. And then at end turn, the effect activates, and I'll actually summon Spirit of White. So if he tries to destroy my stuff, target my monsters, I can just tag out into Blue Eyes and dodge the effect. Oh, that's Advanced Dragon. Yeah, honestly, I still think that searching Lavania is a better option than Advanced Dragon, even if that means you can only play 2 copies of Melody, because if you make Lavania, you can revive a level 8, and then you can make these Xyz monsters, which is, I think, a million times better than just having wasting your normal summon on a level 8 monster. But yeah,